Hello and welcome, PocketWatch here, and it's about time for another episode of Planetarian. So yeah, we're going to continue the story, and we're not watching the movie that is happening in the main menu, because no one told me actually if I can actually safely watch it, because I don't want to be spoiled or anything. So yeah, I guess we'll do this like when I finish the game or something. So yeah, anyway, I'm not going to waste your time, so let's just go to the episode and let's see how our journey will continue with the chapter of the city first. It seems abandoned streets. Let's go. We have been walking for roughly 2 hours. An old shopping district spread out before us. Unlike the districts, a district of high rises that we had came from, here there was a cluster of low buildings, 2 stories at most, crowding left and right around the roadways. Oh, it's cleaning up. And in the midst, one shop in pitiful shape revealed itself from the mist of the rain. It seems that it was once a liquor shop. Half of an old wooden signpost was engraved with a simple legend, liquor store. Sorry, I need to drink my coffee. The warped and bent iron plates of what had once been the door shutters, along with chunks of plaster building material, were strewn on the nearby streets, and glass fragments were scattered about. From the destruction, it looked as if the storefront had been torn apart by the blast of the grenade at point-blank range. It was impossible to tell whether this was the intentional handiwork of another junker or the collateral damage from the battle. Yeah, I guess in this world you cannot even tell anymore if something was actual battle or just some random guy just throw the grenade. Just battle, fight between junkers. The spectacle of the fresh destruction in the midst of this dead ruin, for which time had otherwise stopped, was as dissonant as a comb that had lost all its teeth. Once again, what do you gonna ask me this time? You see how the world looks, right? She suddenly cut in. I mean, we could say gas explosion, I guess, to her. She will not believe us that it's grenade or something, so we can just tell this, I guess. Yeah, you could say something like that. It's pretty much similar damage, I guess. No, it's not working. She had once set about testing her radio communicators that she was so proud of, but it was not as if she would receive any response. After 10 seconds she spoke. Yeah, and you cannot understand the situation as well. Yeah. Yeah. She anxiously hung her head. So many times had I seen that particular action out of her. Yeah, so she'll think that everyone is evacuated and yeah, it's been taken care of. I armed my grenade launcher again. As she saw me off with a very out-of-place smile, I carefully approached the door. Okay, what's inside? I surveyed the tableau that greeted me. Fragments of light brown and light green colored glasses were dispersed all over the narrow interior of the shop. Had I been present at the moment of impact, I could probably have been gotten dead drunk of the stench alone. But time and the rain had now caused everything to sober up. Certainly, if I search carefully, I might be able to find a surviving bottle or two. But the current state of affairs would allow me no such luxury.
せめて半壊ならな。
Full of regret, I returned to the entrance and looked at the place. It had once been a liquor shop, being beaten down by the rain. Just when I exited the shop, I noticed something green that had hitherto been concealed shining on the side of the footpath. I drew near to it, stepping on the fragmented concrete. Just as I had thought, this was a bottle. I thought it was probably high-grade liquor. Okay, lucky you! The cardboard display case had long since fallen away, but the bottle itself seems unbroken. The moment I stretched out my hand to grab it, the last moment of pitiful old man flashed to my mind. Oh. Wow, okay, I didn't thought about this. That's true. Wow, that was close. You cannot like trust things like that on the streets. If something like this is on the street, it's probably a trap in this world, because who normally would just like leave thing like that? While the potential for being such a trap was low, it was still much better to be safe than to be sorry. Yeah. I surveyed my surroundings. I couldn't see any wires or trip plates anywhere. The other possibility was, at that moment, a hand stretched out from beside me and grabbed the liquor bottle. God damn it! Does she know you are going to kill us?
どうぞ。
God damn it. I was so scared that it would like blow up right now. Oh my god. I didn't even have the inclination to get angry with her anymore. And so I merely received the bottle in silence. It was a simple, cylindrical bottle, holding what was unmistakably distilled liquor. I immediately broke the seal and opened the plastic cup. This had been the first time I had broached the seal of one of my prizes in the location I had found it in, but I didn't care at this point. As I drew the bottle to my mouth in order to partake of it and extinguish aroma, that time had no decay, the one beat filled my nose. That was unmistakably a fine blended whiskey.
散々苦労して獲物はこれ一本か。
A smile spilled out of me involuntarily. While my situation was still as bad as it was, I still felt good, as if some weight had been lifted off my shoulders.
お客様、そちらの瓶の内容物は水ですか？
Okay, I know that you cannot know and understand the situation in the world, but this question is just stupid, I think. I mean, it had the label on it. You know it's liquor. I don't know, like you should have like whiskey in your database. Or what's alcohol in general. Right? She asked as just I was about to taste the liquor.
なぜそんなことを聞く？
以前にお客様は自分で汲んだ水以外は飲むなと医者に言われているとおっしゃいましたので。
Oh god.
物覚えがいいんだな。
ありがとうございます。私はロボットですから覚えておくのは得意なんです。
Sure.
ならもう一つ覚えておく。これこそが俺の薬さ。
Okay. As I passed the bottle before her eyes, she very conscientiously read the label.
いえ、それは薬品類ではなくスコッチウイスキーだと思われます。カティサーク12年シェリーバレル。
Wow.
込み価格
She can calculate like the price and everything of like this bottle like 30 years ago.
物知りだな、お前は。
はい、ありがとうございます。
I took the opportunity that the chatterbox words of gratitude present and took a swing of the bottle contents. I quickly choked.
お客様、大丈夫ですか？
This scotch, this first I hadn't been in months, was so strong that my body vomited back up. Aww, that sucks. I took another sip, this time in order to savor the flavor. The air that rushed into me from the bottle was saturated with alcohol, And I could feel the warmth of the liquor in my stomach.
悪くないな。
Nice.
はい、とても上質で絹のように滑らかな喉越しです。
Okay.
飲んだことがあるのか。
いえ、私はロボットなので
Yeah, but she
食はできません。
browsed the internet like 30 years ago about that, I guess.
そりゃ残念だな。
In order to do my teetotaler robot companion honor, I took another swig. Now, if I could only have some cigarettes, that world would be heaven itself. She simply gazed at the destroyed shop, a smile floating to her face. What are you going to say now? Her shoulders, entirely covered by the waterproof cloak, looked somewhat unsteady to me. The rubble, washed by the unbroken sheets of rain, glimmered into silver color. I sealed the whiskey bottle to its original airtight state, and secured then it into my pocket of my backpack. Okay. We took a course northwest from there. Because I had chosen to walk through the alleyways, it was difficult to tell where we were. I mean, yeah, you've kind of chosen it, but you also got, like, forced to it as well, because first of all, you walk slower than usual. Second, you have, like, talkative robot with you that can, like, bring attention. And also, well, yeah, there's, like, murderous robots all around the city, probably. So yeah, it's kinda, you are kinda forced to use alleyways anyway. However, I could tell that we were making progress towards the quarantine wall. The air was rife with the stench of rainwater. I could sense no ill will from the continuous falling of the rain. The sarcophagus city, having closed its protective dome, was like an open-faced water tank. Perhaps the entirety of the east side of the city was just slightly submerged in water. And if that were the case, then the likelihood of having to fight off a patrol of heavy combat units in this area was low. Yeah, but it's not impossible. Better be safe than sorry, as you said. It appeared that unless there were patrols that hacked the quarantine wall, we had avoided the warmongers for now. Perhaps because it had grown much colder since the time that we left, she appeared to be in a good condition as well. Okay, yeah, makes sense because she didn't have to like cool down so much.
プラネタリウムはいかがでしょう。
Oh wow, she starts with her chant again. She walks slightly ahead of me, repeating her usual phrase to herself.
どんな時も決して消えることのない美しい無休のきらめき。
As town was now hers. Although the roads were immersed in water, she did not seem to mind at all. With a great gait that verged on a dance, she walked along these sidewalks that were devoid of people. Her traffic lights, bereft of light, and the road signs, bereft of faces, were simply and quietly bidding her farewell. Both the hush of the building and this robot shaped like a young woman had no duty any longer. And the hundreds of millions of raindrops, it was a scene that made the depths of my heart ache, much like the vague riviere that would vanish by dawn.
お客様、こちらが少々段差になっていますので。
Okay. She came to a stop adrift in the sidewalk and turned in a circle surveying her surroundings. She then fell into a puddle of water with a grand splash. This was already 40th time, okay. I mean, we established already that she's not good in, like, walking in general. Well, in my memory serves, that was.
よそ見を知るなって言っただろ。
はい、めくありません。
よく壊れないな。
見た目より頑丈にできていますので。
Okay. I did not know whether this was a truth or joke, but she beamed radiantly all the time. Water dripped briskly from the cloak that I had lent her. She probably really did like the rain after all. Perhaps it was due to the alcohol that I had just imbibed, but I found myself thinking that way. Also, I wonder like what she will do, because as I said, I think like her battery will just like dry out, right? Because you cannot charge her anymore in the planetarium. But now thought about like what she will do, because she's like very strict about her schedule, right? She have the schedule of like 12 p.m., right? To go basically to the charge station. What she will do if she's like outside? Will she just resign, or she will just like forcefully just like go back? I wonder which one it's going to be. Maybe they will like try to charge her with like something else. Can you charge her with like, I don't know, car battery maybe? Maybe you can do that. If yes, then potentially... Oh my god. I mean, if we go to the quarantine wall and we find the car, then we could like charge her, I guess, but that will make car dead. And that will not help us. That sucks. I'm trying to find a way to save her. Maybe like some car like along the way. I don't even know if I can charge her with a car battery. If the output is even enough. I mean, it's a robot that's like walking like 24/7. Almost. Before long, her gait slackened.
休憩するか。
いえ、もうしばらく歩けます。
そうか。
よく降りますね。
そうだな。
The same casual exchange of words that I knew not how many times we had repeated. The bucket hanging from my backpack clinked like some kind of protective talisman along my footsteps.
この辺りの街路は私のデータベースと異なるようです。
Well, yeah, that destroyed. She spoke those words like a stale joke every single time we came across barricades and barbed wires and entanglements.
整理されたのでしょうか。
多分そうだろ
本当に人通りが少ないですね。
うな。ああ。俺たちだけだな。
このような雨の日はとても退屈なものです。ですが、家の中で過ごすのも楽しいものだと思います。
Yeah, you actually never told me if you like the rain or not. I'm still curious.
ただ、それではプラネタリウムにいらっしゃるお客様が減ってしまうので、
So you can let me know in the
私
comments.
は困ってしまいますが。
She talked as we continued to wonder about the planetarium is still her like biggest concern.
なあ。
はい、何でしょう。
退屈しないか。
退屈と申しますと、
お前はずっとプラネタリウムで働いていたんだろう。全く別の仕事に就きたいと思ったことはないか。
That was an abrupt question, even coming from me. Yeah, like she's programmed basically to do this. She's a planetarium robot. Why would she? Someone who adhered so strictly to her professional duties decide to abandon her post today and follow me instead. Yeah, that was weird. It was like outside of her specs, I guess. But as I said in like previous episodes, she really like enjoyed having like spending time with him and stuff. Probably she did like willingly. Yeah, she made an excuse of like going with him to like his car and stuff because there's like no one else, but I think what's most important is that they both basically found someone to talk finally after years and someone who can like bring some joy. Am I happy that the answer of those two questions were not that dissimilar?
私はソフトウェアの交換により、どのような業務にも柔軟に対応することができます。
Yeah.
それに、どのようなお仕事も等しく尊いものだと考えます。
そう言うと思ったよ。
ですが、私は今の仕事がとても気に入っています。館長さんやスタッフの皆さんやイエナさんと一緒に働くことはとても楽しくやりがいがあります。 今はお客様が少なくなってしまいましたが、でもいつかまた大勢の方々が詰めかけてくれるように。
Yeah, good for you.
そうか。
I respond curtly as I looked out of the foggy rain in my path. If I just walked into the midst, I would be able to return back to the world that I had lived since the day I was born, back to the world in which I had no choice but to live. However, that was not her world. The only thing that would await her when she returned to her beloved workplace were a projector that would never function again, and an eternity of time. Not eternity. You forgot there's like electricity outrage on Planetarium. She cannot charge anymore. And her operational time is 7 days for the year. To take this reality broken and corrupted by the unending rain, and to change it into the meager dreams of which she spoke, was there not any way to make it happen? Wow.
お客様、
Now he thinks about like what you can do to change the world for better, so it can be more like the world that she remembers. Wow, she's really influencing him in a good way. This is cool. Love it. She finally opened her mouth again.
なんだ。
お客様は神様にお願いをしたことはあります。
Didn't you ask this question before?
いや、その質問には答えた方が。
Yeah.
はい、お客様はあったかもしれないが、ろくなことは願っていないとお答えになりました。
物覚えがいいな。
Yeah.
はい、私はロボットですから覚えておく。
お前が何を願うかはまだ聞いてなかったな。
はい、その通りです。
何を願う？
I asked. She stood in the midst of the furious rain. She looked back at me and then spoke slowly. Okay, let's hear what she's talking about to the god of robots, basically, right? Because that's what she's like talking about.
天国を2つに分けないでください。私はロボットの神様にそうお願い。
Divide the haven too. I guess she mean like divide them into like robots and like humans, I guess, so she can like meet like other like staff members and like people who passed away and she's like still alive.
天国の門が人間と
Yeah.
ロボットに分かれていたら、私はとても困ってしまい。
Yeah, like you would not be able to like meet your staff members, your Mr. Manager, customer.
私は天国に行っても人間の皆様のお役に
Yeah.
立ちたいです。これからもずっと皆様のおそばで働きたいです。
It's too sweet, goddammit. She stared at me like a child desperately looking for confirmation.
そっか。
はい、そうなんです。
She smiled bashfully. For her, these words were probably just the extension of her ill wolf talk. I was starting to think of other things altogether. When he departed from the planetarium, she had said that if I continue in the current pattern of usage, my battery will last for four more days. Yep. Oh wait! Oh, I just realized. 4 days. If she continue current pattern of usage. Oh, and current pattern is planetarium, when she don't have to like walk much and stuff. It's going to be much shorter. Oh no. How long do you have? She had probably thought that the way would be so long and harsh. No, it was doubtful that she thought that even now. In other words, her batteries would be running out quite soon. If her battery were cut out by the time that we reached the Land Rover, then I would be able to bring her out of the city without having to worry about how she felt about it.
お客様、お
Mm.
客様。
So he's planning basically Okay, maybe if she ran out of the battery, maybe it's not essentially mean that she's dead. Maybe you can basically revive her when you like charge her back. So if they like go to the car and she just like go to sleep, let's say, because the battery died out, he can like take her to the car, go to like shelter or like some other city or something and charge her back, maybe, and that will force her basically to be somewhere else, not in the planetarium. I wonder, maybe we can make like mini planetarium for her. Maybe we can like, you know, establish a school and she can like talk to students about planets, about stars, about everything. As I said before, like in one of the early episodes, that she can be like a great teacher basically about like the past events, about astrology and stuff. And probably that would like bring a lot of like hope and joy to people as well, just like to him. She called up to me, sounding worried.
少しお休みになってはいかがでしょう。
いや、大丈夫だ。
お車まではまだ遠いのでしょうか。
いや、もうそろそろだ。
それは良かったです。
She again smiled sweetly. I gazed uneasily into the rain, feeling as if she had seen all the way through me. I thought about taking another swig from the whiskey bottle, but I eventually decided against it. I had been drunk well past my limit, even before I had encountered a bottle of whiskey. The face of that old junker partner of mine suddenly came to mind. Yeah, and he's not only talking to her, he's even like walking with her now. I had not heeded that advice, and it may well have been the time for me to pay the price for not listening last night. And what was I to do with her? What exactly was I planning on doing with her? Unable to find the answer to those questions, I simply walked into the midst of the rain. Okay, cool.
止まれ。
Okay.
はい、わかりました。
Something happens. The precise sound of her footsteps vanished that instant. And you know what? I think I will like end the episode like traditionally, like this episode. I will like read the next episode after like some minutes, some time. Because I have stuff to do and it's like around 30 minutes, so it's actually fitting quite the pattern that I'd made for Planetarium. So yeah, we'll be ending, so thank you for joining, for being with me for today's episode. That was pretty cool episode and I didn't realize actually, so yeah, cool that they actually mentioned it, that she don't have much time, actually less than I thought. I'm still like, I don't know, I have a feeling I'm going to cry on the series way more. I already cried on like Planetarium scene. I cannot imagine what's like ahead of me. I expect Hoshino death, at least. Like from like, just like her battery, if her battery dies, then I expect her to basically die. Because it depends like what will happen if we recharge her, right? Because she's like recharging on like, you know, in pattern. Maybe she can't let her battery to dry out. Like, what if like if her battery dries out, then basically her whole memory is like wiped, you know, and that's basically a death for her. If you think about this, so even if she like goes down near the car and you can like recharge her later, then she will not be the same as she used to be. Maybe she'll be like just like blankly, just like robotic, bland and robotic, you know. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, thank you everyone for being with me. Leave up a like if you like the episode. Check my Discord. You can subscribe if you're not subscribed. You can also check out the members and you can subscribe and be like supporter and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone for being with me, and I will see you in the next episode of Planetarian. So for the Pocket Watch, it's going out.